to see you.
You too.
So Dr. Wu was just telling us how excited he is about the grant opportunity for North Plainfield. Yay.
We are too.
Yeah, likewise.
So Megan, I know you have like the list of the respondents. I had a screenshot. I don't know how much longer you want to wait, but I also know that you're recording this.
Yeah, I decided just to record, and that way what we can do is after the meeting, we can send this out to others and answer any questions individually if people aren't able to make it today.
Good, thank you.
It looks like a few other people joining on.
Lauren is our math supervisor, so she's here. So Lauren supervises Ricky Santana, who is finishing up his certification.
Oh, fabulous. Lauren, we're big fans of Ricky's. He's been a great student in our program. So Regina, is there anything that you would like to say to the group, or can Dr. Wu and I just jump in?
Sure. Well, I think just welcome to everyone for coming out. This would now be, I think, our third installment with TCNJ. One cohort was started before I got here. A second cohort started like right near or the beginning of the pandemic. And now this would be our third cohort. And I think what's most exciting is that, and I know that Megan and Dr. Wu will tell us all more, but there is a grant opportunity through TCNJ, and North Plainfield was kind of like their first choice. So they've got the money. And I think what's extra exciting is that in our teacher contract, and that we have Dr. Katz here and Mr. Luis to expand, we also have a reimbursement. So that's why North Plainfield is having its own specific cohort conversation. We want to glean interest from our people so that we sort of have, well, we have first dibs into the grant money, and to see what kind of class size we can get. And then we would be moving on to other districts. But again, I just think it's important that, we're getting first dibs at this financial support.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Regina, and Mr. Luis and Dr. Katz. Thank you so much for opening your district back up to Dr. Wu and to me. I wanted just to introduce myself, and I'll allow Dr. Wu to introduce himself too. I am currently the Assistant Director of a division called Offsite Graduate Programs, which is housed right now in the School of Education at TCNJ. And our role is to bring TCNJ programming to locations outside of our Ewing, New Jersey campus. Half of our programming actually takes place overseas. We serve quite a few individuals in the international schools and those who are looking to be employed in the international schools. And the other side of the work that we do is directly with the New Jersey school districts, where over the years we have brought cohort programming in teaching English as a second language and bilingual education, special education, and also educational leadership. And as Regina mentioned, we've actually been working with North Plainfield for many, many years. And Regina, I have to make one correction. This is actually our fourth go around, which I was looking back in our notes, and we've been doing this for quite a while. And Dr. Wu and I have always appreciated, the willingness of the district to send their teachers to us, in a convenient format in the district. And so really what Dr. Wu and I wanted to do today was to share a little bit about the TESOL and bilingual certification programs that we are really hoping that we can bring into your district. We do have some pretty fantastic grant funding, which really helps to offset the cost for you. Dr. Wu, do you want to say hello first, and then I'll jump right into the presentation?
Okay, thank you, Megan. I think you gave a very detailed history about the program. Yes, I'm so glad to be back again. And as Megan mentioned, that we started your program, so I don't know how many years ago, but I'm thrilled that I visited your school and Board of Education, and I taught some courses there. I'm so happy to be back at home again with your district. I'm so happy to be here. You said we can offer you the grant. We fortunately get the grant last for, and for another 5 years. And this time is more than the previous 2 grants. We have $3 million. So we really wanted that to offer the programs in district. Everyone knows that the shortage of ESL bilingual teachers is crazy, and really we need to do something. And we want to come to you is that we share you call. Right now we have several districts that really following us, car tailors. They really chase us in. And several districts want to have a partner with us. He said, give your graduates to us. We want to say for sure that's the best thing that we want just offer the program in your district, provide the service that for the convenience of or someone interested in program. That's the way I talk to a lot of districts. Don't worry about the partner program. If you have interest, we set up program in your backyard. So that's you don't need the bag for new teachers. That's what I'm going to do. So we first want to offer the program to your district. Even if you don't have enough people, I will set up the program in your district. And of course, we need your help to get more teachers. We don't want to waste the money because smaller the program, we run out of grants, right? Because we have to hire the instructors and other fees. But we guarantee is that we will do as usual. We will cover a majority of the tuition, and also we will cover all the fees associated with the certification, including if some paraprofessionals need praxis, we pay the money. Of course, we cannot put forever like 3 times, 4 times, no. But we will provide some money for them to take the praxis test, and for the language and the application fee for your certification. And we waive the application fee. Basically, that your district, the commitment is usual, is that you recruit the teachers, helping the teacher understand the program, and helping them go through the program. And ideally, is that you reimburse that part of the tuition. And in addition, I wanted to say that this program, this time, every time we write a proposal is a little bit different. And this time I want to program. We started a pilot program we call the family literacy. We want each cohort working with us to run a family literacy group. We really want the family involvement. Not just the teachers and the program, but the ESL parents and the young kids. So the program, I give you a little bit of time is that so you understand that. Basically, is that we want you to recruit about 10 ESL students in the maybe the preschool or the up to the 3rd grade at the beginning. I think we have the better chance if we start early, right? So we want to set up a family literacy, invite their parents, single or both, if you have time, and have like an intensive literacy, basically basic speaking and basic reading and writing. We want to get them started because we don't have the money that we hope we can run for years, but we want to get it started. If you get 10 students with the parents, and we want to run it maybe after school or weekends. We will provide money. We will buy e-readers for each family. They can keep it so that they can learn to read and write and continue to read. And also establish the basic communication skills, like write like an email back to the also basic communication skills and with the teachers and understand how to learn the English, right? So for the kids, that's I think it is like that you'll be happy with that. I think will be help. We do have some money support that. So your school don't cost you anything. And maybe a little bit is like to help us organize it. Maybe if we run in the weekends, help us to have like a transportation. We pay for it. We pay for it.
I
So,
think, Dr. Wu, that sounds really exciting. I think we can definitely connect on that a little bit. And
okay.
I have a meeting with Mr. Luis tomorrow, so I'll kind of include that into our conversation. I'll reach out to, I guess, either you or Megan, and I can find out how we can elaborate on that a little bit. That sounds really exciting. For
Yeah,
our
well, we
families.
run that not just one way, some other ways to support.
Sure.
That is the additional, and also we still want to offer a workshop for administrators and professionals or administrators to help ESO, and we can working together to see what time and topics we can offer. We have the money to job for each district, and during the time of the convenient for your staff. And for the program, I can spend just a couple minutes. It's our program over that for certified teacher, 5 courses, and for
Woo, I'm
yes.
so sorry. Can I interrupt for one quick second? I actually have a presentation.
Oh,
that's okay. And
that'd be good.
I just want to be able to share my screen, and then you and I can both talk a little bit of the program. I know today we've got both administrators who may be supervising teachers who would benefit from this program. So I just want to kind of give an overarching, but we definitely want to talk a little bit more about the
Thank you, Megan. You stopped me. Otherwise, the whole evening of it.
No. It's good. All right. Is everybody able to see the presentation? Okay, great. So, Wu, I'm gonna have you jump in here as well. But just as we ready, this program is designed as both a teaching English as a second language certificate program, either an initial certificate or an endorsement certificate, or also a bilingual endorsement. And so as Dr. Wu was mentioning, and Dr. Wu, feel free to jump in as well here. For the TESOL certification, we are serving both in-service teachers, those who are already certified in an instructional area. It's a 5-course program, 15 credits. For those who need to do their initial certification, there are additional requirements with a student teaching experience and a language and literacy class. And then included and also separate and aside is the bilingual endorsement, which is really designed for those who are currently teaching in the classroom who are proficient in a target language. It is a 4-course program. Many of our participants who are seeking bilingual also do the teaching of one course in the program. So just something I wanted to highlight, and what makes this program, I think, a little bit different than coming to TCNJ on campus or even going to a different institution to do this kind of certification, is that we've really designed this program with the working teacher in mind. It just so happens that the way that our grant funding, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, the way that the grant funding works is that we offer 1 course per semester. And typically what we do in a district is we pick one night of the week. In North Plainfield currently, classes have been meeting on Tuesday evenings. So class meets once a week, totally online on Tuesday evenings from 5 to 7:30 p.m. And we've tried really, really hard to keep that consistent. We understand that even with an online class, if you are logging on from home, possibly for childcare needs or other scheduling needs, it's just nice to have one night a week. So we do our best to maintain that. We are currently online. Back in the olden days, and by olden days, I mean pre-pandemic, we used to come into the district. There are still opportunities, and Regina, this is something that we could certainly talk about. If there was a desire for hybrid, we could certainly offer that. But we have found that online works really well because we are also able to bring in teachers from neighboring districts, and it just really enhances the experience of each class. Something I like to mention, and Dr. Wu and I will talk a little bit more about this in a moment, is that The certificate component of this program is really a great jumping off point for those of you or those of your teachers who may be interested in a master's degree. The 5-course endorsement certificate is 50% of the master's degree, so there's only 5 courses more to go. Those who are actually working on initial certification and take 7 courses only have 3 more courses to go to earn the master's degree. And I think most importantly, I think everybody here will agree, this program is quite a good value even without the grant funding. Our current cohort right now in North Plainfield started without the funding, but has subsequently received some funding. The grant cost really allows us to bring this down to $800 per 3-credit class, and obviously district reimbursement policies. And I'll ask Dr. Katz and Mr. Luis to speak to that a little bit later as well. But I think those are really some of the larger benefits of doing this sort of certification program through an offsite cohort in the district. I just wanted to provide a very, very sample and tentative overview about what this program looks like. You know, again, even though we are offering just 1 course per semester, you'll see from this sample timeline that the program actually moves pretty quickly. Dr. Wu and Regina and I think are very optimistic that there will be enough interest to get this program off the ground and running. Dr. Wu and I are especially excited because we want to be able to use this grant funding. We don't want any of this money to go to waste. So even though spring 2023 actually started, our on-campus semester started today, we would not be starting today, obviously, with this sort of course, but we would be looking to do some sort of compressed spring semester first class, which is our sociolinguistics class. But as you can see here, you know, the courses would really go one after the other. The courses that have a double asterisk next to them are just required of those in our initial certification program. So that's the field practice and the language and literacy class. But I hope that this will just give everybody a little bit of an overview about what the course sequence looks like. Dr. Wu, is there anything that you'd like to add in specifically about any of these classes that might be beneficial to our audience today?
I just want to emphasize the student teaching part. Right now, the student teaching is divided into 2 parts. The state requires that the new teachers have a practice for 2 consecutive semesters. So we break it down into 588, 1 credit field practice, and 688. The first one is that it requires 175 hours. And the second one, 688, will be full-time student teaching. So we really appreciate that your school district will help placement. And that's usually it's a major concern for other districts. And for professionals, they need a job, right? If they totally working, that would be difficult. That's why we put more money on that part to reduce the burden of the initial certification participants. So we hope that we can work out something that help them. We can discuss it later with you guys, and what the options the students have and other districts did. That's their concept. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Wu. One other thing I just want to mention when looking at the courses required in this program, as I was mentioning before, the TESOL and the bilingual programs are separate and also together. Those who are only seeking the bilingual endorsement will take ESLM 577, but will skip ESLM 545, but take 587, 525, and 578. So I just kind of wanted to highlight the one distinction with those who might be pursuing bilingual only. There's just one less class.
Megan, can I just add while you're on that slide? It's probably a good
Please.
time to talk about the reimbursement. So when I put out the email to everybody about it, I gave an estimated cost of for people that were already certified of about $2,000 out of pocket. Where that came from was 5 courses, $800 each, which is $4,000. And then from the district, people are reimbursed 50% of that cost. So that's how that became 2,000. So if you're wondering where I got that from in the message I sent everybody, that's where it is. So depending on how many courses you need in your situation, because right, it was different depending on what cert you have, whether you have a standard or not, which program you're going through, you can take these numbers, add them up to the number of courses you're going to have, and then cut that in half. And then that's your cost, is half of that.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Katz, so much for sharing that. I think, Dr. Wu and I have run these programs in many different formats. We run this program through our global program, through our on-campus program. I can't emphasize enough that this is a really, really good financial deal in terms of either an initial certificate, especially because the student teaching is subsidized 100%, but also those who are looking for an endorsement. Not only is it a valuable certification and one that your district, desperately, your district and all of the other districts in the state of New Jersey desperately need, but we really try to make this program as accessible as possible, really by, cutting out not only the application fee at the very beginning, but certainly helping to cover the testing fees and also the certification fees at the end of the program. We want to make this really is streamlined to enable you to focus on your district's needs.
And Megan, with the student teaching for teachers who are working full-time already with the L's in their classroom, is that what student teaching is?
So it can be. So for those, the student teaching is only required of those who are not yet certified in an instructional area. So for paraprofessionals, for example, our hope would be to allow them to remain in a classroom with English language learners to serve as the student teaching experience. But those who are already teaching, even if they have English language learners in their classroom, there's no student teaching required. Thank you, though, Regina. That's a great question. So Dr. Wu and I will talk also a little bit more broadly, but I just want to kind of zone in real quickly on the next steps that we would follow, because we're obviously on January 23rd today, and we would love to be able to get something started in the district this spring. What I am going to do, and actually I'll do it after I stop talking, is I'll send via the chat, and I'm also going to send out an information sheet that mimics this presentation. There's going to be a link to a pre-registration form. This is a form that will allow Dr. Wu and me to really get a handle on the interest in North Plainfield. We recognize the need for this program, and so we want to be able to determine, okay, we've got 12 seats in North Plainfield, how many can we offer to another group of students or another cohort? So we'd really love to be able to get a sense really by next week. I recognize that seems very, very close, but I'd love to have those of you who are on the call, and even those who aren't, and review this information at a later point, fill out that pre-registration. It's not binding whatsoever. It just gives us a sense of how we can move forward and really balance our budget for the grant spending. What we will do from there is, once we receive your pre-registration form, my office will reach out with instructions for matriculation. Now, matriculation can take a little bit of time. We have reduced requirements through this program, but we still do require submission of an online application, copy of your teaching certificate if you have it. If you don't have it, we would need basic skills, something like Praxis Core or qualifying SAT or GRE scores, a copy of your resume, and also a copy of your official undergraduate transcript. For those of you who might have completed your bachelor's degree outside of the United States, we do require an evaluation. And on this matriculation instruction sheet, we detail all of this. So certainly nothing that you need to write down right now. Because all of that takes a little bit of time, we are going to ask process. We have a method at TCNJ where we can actually, we call it quick admit. We can quick admit you based on your online application and give you a little bit of time to get those supplemental materials in. But I just wanted to highlight that, we want to get people into the system as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we're not able to register you. You wouldn't have a TCNJ ID number. And then what would happen at that stage is all of the registration and sort of the administrative pieces take place in offsite graduate programs. So our office would register students for their first course and provide a confirmation email, which explains how to access the TCNJ systems, how to make the $800 per class payment, and really details about when the class is meeting, when it will start, etc. This is just a little bit of a preview about what happens on the other end of the program. Even though this is not a degree program, this is a certificate program at this stage, we do require that our certification candidates apply for graduation from the certificate program. There is no fee to do this. But what that allows us to do is to really start the wheels in motion of scheduling the ACTFL, which is the test required by the state of New Jersey for certification. And if you were doing bilingual, in addition to teaching ESL, you would take those tests in the target language too. And then we would actually walk you through the certification process. We recognize how daunting certification pieces can be, and we want to make sure that as a candidate going through our program that we provide as much support as possible. That's just another way that we can do some hand-holding and allow you to focus on your district and the school's needs. I just wanted to review real quickly some questions that come up frequently, and then I would love to open it up to questions that Dr. Wu and I can answer. The first question that we typically receive is whether or not financial aid is available. We do recognize, even with this extremely subsidized program, that it still is a chunk of money out of pocket each semester. The one thing I will mention is financial aid is certainly available for this program, but it does require two things. It requires being fully matriculated in a program of study. That means completing the application materials and being accepted into the program. It also requires a minimum of 5 credits in a semester. And for us, we have 3 credit classes, so that would be at least 2 courses. You'll notice, kind of going back to our tentative timeline, most semesters we are only offering 1 class, and that has a lot to do with just preferred pacing for this program. As working teachers, it can be sometimes tough to add a second class, and also it allows us to spread our grant spending out. So certainly if financial aid was of interest and need, we could work together to find a way to provide you a second class, potentially toward the master's degree, or we could work with you to be creative about that. But I do like to answer that at the beginning. Another common question that we get is, what if I miss a class? We really like to see these cohorts stay together. We think, Dr. Wu and I really feel strongly that there is some power in numbers, and we've devised a sequence that we feel leads to the best outcome in terms of cumulative knowledge. If for some reason something comes up and you're not able to take a class, we also understand. We would work individually with students to find a way either to make up that class with a future cohort. We've got other cohorts working in different districts, and now that we are online, we have some additional flexibility. As a last case scenario, you would certainly be welcome to take that same class on campus or through offsite graduate programs, global programs. You could join us in Portugal over the summer, or we do offer some of the classes in an online format. I will mention, however, that the fees are a little bit higher. The tuition is higher. Dr. Wu and I, at this point, can't guarantee that we could add the grant subsidy to that, but that's certainly a conversation that we could have on an individual basis if something came up. As I mentioned before, we really see the certification program, both in teaching ESL, initial or endorsement, or in bilingual endorsement, as a really great jumping off point for the master's degree. Dr. Wu, I don't know if you have kind of a rough number in your mind, but I would say about 50% of our certificate students go on and complete the master's. And sometimes They will stack programs together. They will not only complete the master's in teaching English as a second language, but they'll also be very close to earning a supervisor certificate or a certification in a different area. So certainly if that's something of interest to you, Dr. Wu and I are here to advise you so that if you need to double up on courses for financial aid purposes or are just interested in planning for the future, we can point you in the right direction. One other piece that I just like to mention at the information session is the workload. We realize that we try to make this program as streamlined as possible. And one thing that we just want to be very clear about is while this is a convenient and certainly a great program for working teachers, it's not professional development. It is a graduate level certificate program. So we want our candidates to understand that outside of the class, there's probably 3 to 4 hours of work a week that is done on your own time outside of that online synchronous meeting. We do provide course descriptions. We are more than happy to provide sample syllabi if that is helpful to anybody on the fence about making that kind of decision. Dr. Wu, do you have any comments about sort of your expectation, teaching these classes and what our students can expect?
Yeah, we will take a fully consideration of the full-time teachers load. So we'll spread the coursework through the online courses, but also has some assignments during the week. So basically is that we will have some assignments that the students can do it whenever they have time. So I found that working very well, and they can have like group activities and some responses through online. We'll have a discussion, board discussion. We find it very helpful, and the teacher can talk to each other during the week or anytime.
Great, thanks so much, Dr. Wu. At this point, I'd love to open it up to questions. I'm just going to stop my share real quickly. I am going to send an information sheet, basically to link to an information sheet that kind of synthesizes the presentation, and it does have links to the pre-registration form. But can I, either Dr. Wu or I or the district, if you have any questions, answer any questions for you, either as a group or individual needs? Oh, we might have answered all the questions, Dr. Wu.
That'd be thrilled.
For those of you who are supervisors or administrators on the call, do you have a good sense in your building of some teachers, who may not be on this call today, but who, after hearing this information, you might either like for us to get in touch with, or you'd like to take information to them?
Yeah, there's definitely two people that one person that RSVP'd, and then the other person, Megan, reached out to me, and I connected the two of you today.
Great.
But there are 1, 2, 3, 4 people that RSVP'd that didn't come, so I'm not sure. But especially with the pricing and the information sheet that you've got and that pre-registration, I think that those are good items. Maybe Dr. Katz, Mr. Luis, like maybe it's like, you couldn't be here, here's the recording and here's information. You can do the pre-registration work, and that's still not saying committing you to doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could definitely do that, Regina.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. This is good.
Well, I am happy, to hang on to the call for a little while. If anybody has any questions that they would, like to ask in a smaller audience, that would be fine too. I just sent out via chat a link to the information sheet, and I will certainly follow up with everybody here with a copy of the recording and the information sheet. And I can certainly answer questions offline, but just want to thank Regina, you very much for your great and constant contact. I feel like, even if we haven't chatted in a little while, we are, always able to jump right back in again and think about the cohort. And Mr. Luis and Dr. Katz, thank you very much for your time and for sharing this information with your district. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're thrilled to
Thank
be
you
able to
very much.
continue working with you and to have this partnership and this opportunity is great. And thank you for everyone that's here, Jane, Michelle, Darren, Arlette, Jen, Danielle. We appreciate the interest. Hopefully you follow through. If you don't, no pressure, totally understand, but definitely happy that you're all interested in it and took the time today to spend here. And if you have any other questions, Megan said she'll stay. And of course you can reach me or Regina or Philippe anytime too.
That's
And thanks,
great.
John,
Thanks so
for being
much.
here too.
Mhm.
Yeah, no problem. I learned a lot. Thank you.